YouTube faithful, what's going on? It's Flex Friday, baby, and PrizePicks gives you a free roll today. There's nothing like it. There's also going to be a bunch of other bonuses. There's some on Underdog. I saw a 6-pack discount on Chalkboard. I saw a Sleeper with discounts, and of course, ParlayPlay has a taco today on Dylan Cease. We are going to cover the MLB slate today. I'm probably not going to spend time with the WNBA. Trying to get a quick video out today so I can go back to my app development, but we will discuss it all. If you're new to this channel, thanks for stopping by. My name's Captain Crush. I cover all the sports, MLB, NFL, NBA, WNBA, PGA, all of them. Whenever there's content to be had, I focus on teaching you and helping you improve your personal process to help you turn into a long-term DFS winner, whether it's on PrizePicks, Best Ball, DraftKings, Player v Player, whatever it is. A key process will send you on your way. So if that sounds like something you want, go ahead and hit subscribe. And if you already know the drill, smash the like button like mama taught you right before I have to throw these hands. And when Crush throws hands, my brothers and sisters in Christ, people tend to get hurt. It's just how it is. I don't make the rules. So with that in mind, let's break this down, okay? You can see right here, I'm looking at the Poverty Mets, David Peterson versus Pittsburgh Pirates, and you're like, whoa, what's this tool? I've never seen it. Well, I developed it. 50 data points. It is my model simulation tool. Basically, I take all the data, 50 points, the weather, the lefty versus righty, the batter lineups, the pitcher matchup, everything, run it 10,000 times via simulation, and it spits out probabilities and projections for you. So, I wasn't even going to talk about David Peterson, but someone in the court asked, so I went ahead and looked at it, and it's looking pretty good. The only problem with David Peterson, folks, is he's a Met. Absolutely. That's the problem. But he simulates well in this matchup. So over 10,000 games played in this spot, he was getting 5.8 Ks on average. Going over 4.5 strikeouts 66% of the time. Under 2.5 runs 28% of the time. Hits allowed under 5.5 31% of the time. And over 1.5 walks 64% of the time. The recommendations are right there. You would take more, less, and more. You can see the weather is reducing earned runs and hits by 3%. Nothing to sneeze at, buddies. Nothing to sneeze at. My issue with this, as with anything, is this is going to factor in the matchup, the head-to-heads, which you did see on the head-to-head. He played them on 5-12, which was just a month ago, and he got 7 Ks and pretty much held them in check. But over his last 10, 4, 3, 6, 6, 5, 7, 4, 7, 6, 2, he's not really a strikeout pitcher. We know that. We know he's not really a strikeout pitcher. But the upside is the outs. He can go deep into innings, and he's playing the Pirates. If anything, maybe you could look at his pitching outs, and I wouldn't take it more than 4.5, even though it's 66%. I know how this model works, being that I built it, and I'm telling you, it's factoring in the matchup, the weather, and some other things that I don't want to get into, obviously. But buyer beware, seller beware. 66% of the time still leaves 34% of the time. You do you, comment guy. It's my take on Mr. David Peterson. I don't even know what his line on PrizePicks is today, to be honest with you. Oh, they got it. Gabby. It's at 5. You want to know why PrizePicks put these lines at 5? Because he's likely to land on 5. And if he lands on 5, they get your action because you have to have it with another square, and they don't win and they don't lose. Unless you pair it in a 2-man, they give you 1.5x, which is nothing. And he's most likely going to land on 5. That's why they do that. And then that's why you would take this, and if you pair it with any random prop, it pays 2.75x. So you're sacrificing 25 cents on the dollar to take this, which would be way more optimal. And then for hits allowed, honestly, I would be taking under in this spot. But like I said, I'm not really going to bother with it. But if I was going to take anything, it would be these two, okay? Outs and pitcher strikeouts, but I don't want to say that on YouTube. But you guys know the emoji and word I'm looking at, followed by the Mets, okay? So let's move on from the Mets. I wasn't even going to talk about them. Today's slate, we got Dylan Cease at 5.5 Ks versus the Reds. I'm not really sure how he doesn't get this done. All right. There's a couple of arguments to be made here on Mr. Cease. Today, he's facing the Reds. It's a good matchup. I think his 5.5 Ks are in play. I don't want to touch him at 7. In fact, I would be leaning under on 7, folks. If he's going to get 8 Ks in this spot, so be it. I'm not asking for 8. I don't want to ask for 8. I want 6. Can you give me 6? Pair it with any random square, he's giving you 2.25x. Now, Cease has had a roller coaster season so far, ups and downs, ups and downs. I also like his 4.5 hits allowed, my brothers and sisters in Christ. You heard that right. I think the Reds can get 5 hits on him. So what's next? Well, we go back to Crush Bats and we run Dylan Cease through the simulator and we see what's good, all right? 6.5, we can see the Vegas odds. It's juiced over. If you look at his hits allowed, it's also juiced over heavily. I'm surprised PrizePicks has this lineup here with with these books putting it at minus 135. That's kind of weird. We can look at the matchup. They're striking out a little bit more than the league average, okay? And then their batting average is a little bit below the league average, so it's a good matchup. And if you look at the head-to-heads, you're not going to find anything. If you look at the last 10, 4, 9, 11, 7, 6, 8, 6, 10, 9, 3, he's gone over 5.5 Ks in 2 of 10 starts, okay? 2 of 10 starts! So we're going to run his line at 6.5 and see what shakes out. Now, 52%, right? 52% of the time, he goes over 6.5, simulating for 7 strikeouts over 10,000 games played. Hits allowed 4.2. It's dicey. It's dicey. Walks 1.9. Innings pitched 6.5. Here's the thing. This is an average of 10,000. Let's say he goes 6 innings. I think that hits allowed would be bumped to 5. His Ks could be bumped to 8. But whenever the simulation is showing us that it's 6.5, and this is with the Vegas boost, by the way. If you take it away, the true model power, it's only 50%. The Vegas boost incorporates the Vegas odds into the line. But if you take over 6.5, 52% of the time, usually this is a fade spot. Okay, look, all of it's a fade. The only thing we should be doing is taking less on his walks at 2.5. 2.5 walks is ridiculous. I don't even think that's his true line. I think they have it at Goblin at 1.5. Okay, if he gets 3 walks, God bless him. 70% of the time he stays under. Now, 42% of the time he goes over 4.5. So that would be a gut call. Technically, he's going under 4.5 hits 58% of the time, so you could take under. That's up to you. Same thing with the earned runs. 59% of the time he stays under, but now look at the Ks. In this scenario, the rule is we fade it, we leave it alone, we don't go to look for a gobby. Because it's still in cease, I'm making an exception to the rule. We don't do this except for when we do, and this is the exception. So if you take him down to 5.5 and rerun it, he's now going over 5.5 Ks 65% of the time. Now you see these numbers change because every time you click crush it, it runs a new 10,000 simulation in a blink. These numbers aren't static, okay? They're going to change because each 10,000 runs is different. It's not the same. So 65% of the time, which means we can take him over 5.5. And as you can see there, PrizePicks just removed in real time his 4.5 hits allowed. Just like I said, I couldn't believe that line was still up there. They just yanked it. So now there's only a Goblin, which is just classic PrizePicks, guys. It's not even too central and they're already removing the lines. Now, I already gave this out in my Discord, which is why you should be plugged in and locked in with a full write-up. And if you want to see that write-up, I'll show you right here. Dylan Cease, more 5.5 strikeouts, more 4.5 hits allowed. He's in an elite spot, simulates well in the models, and I think he has to at least get 6 here. His true line is 6.5, which still sims well, but I just can't ask for 7. In fact, I want to take less than 7. I think 6 is doable, and I will also dabble with his hits allowed, but that's your call. Here's why. Due to his elite strikeout rate and recent consistency, he averaged over 11 Ks per 9 innings this season, has gone over his line in most of his recent starts, as I said, 8 of his last 10, powered by a dominant slider that generates a high volume of swing and misses. Even in a hitter-friendly environment, Cease's strikeout stuff typically holds up, making him a reliable option for Ks. That's facts. That's church. Crushed Bats has his true line at 6.5. Crushed Bats has his true line simulating at 60% at 5.5. That's supposed to say 5.5. The argument for hits allowed is his home road splits. If you dive deeper into his ERA, it's inflated to the 2 anomaly games he had against the Dodgers and the Athletics. Still, 4.5 hits allowed seems reasonable to achieve. Now, his road performance is way worse. Dylan Cease, look it up for yourself. He plays way worse on the road. That is facts. His ERA jumps to like 6 or 8, but he did have 2 games where he gave up like 9 runs and 6 or 7 runs, which inflates that over like a 4 or 5 home road split. So you got to keep that in mind. The risks of him not hitting this would be his walk rate, which can drive up his pitch count and limit how deep he goes into games. If he struggles with efficiency or runs into a long inning early, there's a chance he falls short. Still, based on his overall profile, the matchup and recent form makes the over a sharp bet. I also think his 4.5 hits allowed should be considered as well. So every day I do these write-ups. There's about 6 of them today for probably 8 plays on my Dub Club, which is linked to my Discord. If you do get in my Dub Club, you'll get access to all of these and more live streams every day at 5:30 Central, which we make lineups. I will show some of those in a little bit. You do get access to Crushed Bats, all my data models, my Discord chat, my personal slips, and my role member slips as well. I highly recommend it. I'm not just having a Dub Club, which most people have a Dub Club just to sell you picks. That's not me. I focus on giving you a process and why and building your process of what's going on here, okay? I try to provide the tools for you to win. I do give you picks and slips, as you can see here, but I also provide you with the tools to succeed. That is key, and I teach you the process, point blank, period. So if you want to join a good community that focuses on all that stuff, a very data-driven approach, a lot of analytical stuff going on here. CaptainCrush.net, you can watch this video. It explains how the Discord works, the apps. You can see some testimonials here from guys who have been in for a long time. And then you can also see the price is $25 a month. It goes up to $35 once the hitter side is released. I'm still working on it. It's taken longer than I thought. If you sign up with any of my partners, Underdog, Chalkboard, Sleeper, ParlayPlay, guys, I will throw in 30 days of the cord for free. Just send me the email. So click join now right here. This will take you to where there is a summer discount, 3 months for $60, which should be $75. And that will take you to Dub Club. You check out and you will be able to get access immediately to the Discord, crushed bats, and the live streams, baby. 1 month for $24.99 as well. Very fair price, guys. Very fair. Now, being a part of my Discord does give you access to the live streams where you will get these two-mans that aren't necessarily posted via the silver membership or under the Captain Slips tab, because I make them live on live. Guys, you gotta be there to get it. Why the lines move, the lineups are going. I do the lives at 5:30 Central, usually 30 minutes to an hour before lock. I do that intentional because that is when the lines are settled and that is when I have the most time to react and construct slips. It's not my fault. I don't care. I am a content creator first, meaning I have to create content for everyone. So when I'm finally on the live streams, then I can focus on slip construction. But by the way, I post these projection sheets and models for you every single day. You can look at them and find these type of lineups. Griffin Canning got injured, so this soared under. It was sweat free. We got lucky, but honestly, I thought he was going under 90.5 pitches anyways. And then another one here with Aaliyah Boston. Yesterday, she was projected for 43 fantasy points. I sung it on the rooftops from the live streams. It was a poverty slate, but I said, if you see a projection differential like that, take the over. I told y'all to take it. It cashed. And then I used that same model, which I went over all of these legs on the live stream, and I literally built this. And I built this straight from the model because that was that. So let's look at this slip leg by leg, and then we will go compare it to the projections that I post, okay? Steven's Fantasy, Boston's Fantasy, Hamby under, Asia under. Let's go! This was yesterday's WNBA projection model. Here we go. Aaliyah Boston projected for 42 fantasy points with the line 36. Easy over, guys. Hamby projected for 16.2 points. The line was 16.5. I took under, hoping she doesn't get there. Plus, I like taking unders. Stevens projected for 30. The line was 30. I made a gut call because I thought if the game's competitive, she's going to have to score. She's going to have to do stuff. She barely went over. She got 34. Cash it. And then Asia Wilson projected for 47. The line was 48. I took under. And then Brittany Sykes, I made a gut call and took over 31 because she just had a poverty game since returning. Maybe she was a bounce back. And guess what? She didn't even play, so it was a DNP. That is how I built that slip. I went over those on the live streams, and it happened to cash. That is how I did it. There's no magic 8-ball. There's no gatekeeping. None of that, dude. It's just like that. I do that every single day. If it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's it. Ooh, magic. Ooh. Today's WNBA sheet's posted already there in the PDF. I put it out. It's there. Do the same thing. Do it every single day. You'll end up ahead of the game. Now, is there keys to doing which one? Sure. You got to do a little bit more research than that. Do your due diligence, but the long and the short of it. Now, let's move on. Okay. The only player I got wrong yesterday for MLB was Yandy Diaz. He sold, which hitters are going to do that. That's going to happen. We had Grant Holmes cash, Lexi Holmes rebounds cash. We had Springer's outs under cash and over 1.5 walks cash. Ant Dog had himself a little 3-man home run slip. Nice slip, buddy. Imagine if you would have bet 100. And then we also took Grant Holmes under 2.5 earned runs allowed. We also had Tanner over 4Ks, which I gave on this YouTube channel. You can see right here, he used crushed bats as he's saying. Shout out Captain Crusher Crushed Bats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legs. Got him. Got him. Got him. Trust the process. Use the models. Do it every single day. You'll be fine, guys. It's that simple. Now let's move on and continue the cook. Tired of plugging this. It speaks for itself, guys. Either get in the mix or don't. But I promise you'll be better off if you did. A lot of haters out there. A lot of haters. Everybody can give picks or tell you what to pick. You can find your own picks. It's not even about that, guys. It's about community building and teaching you a process. If I teach you your process, which is what these videos are about, you're going to be so much better off than just trying to log in and like, oh, I need to just tail a slip. Dude, that's poverty. Complete and total, utter poverty. So let's move on. I want to talk about Mitch Spence versus the New York Yankees, guys, okay? This dude is poverty, as most of the pitchers are. 14, 15, 15, 15, 13, 14, 15, 21, 13, 15. Guys, he doesn't get a lot of outs. He doesn't get a lot of Ks, and he gives up a lot of hits allowed. 8, 7, 3, 3, 7, 7, 7. It's ridiculous. The only fear with him is that he may be shelled before he gets a chance to realize this equity. Look at this. Now, the move with him would be to take under 4.5 Ks, but I got to tell you something. He still goes over 70%. He still goes over 30% of the time, and that is because he's facing the Yankees, who make every pitcher look elite. So, personally, PrizePicks lowered it to 4. I'm fading it, but you could take over 4.5 hits allowed. Look at this, 71%. And PrizePicks, unfortunately, has it at a goblin. But look, if you take these two, it's a double up. So, it's not a true goblin. If you pair with any random square, I believe it's 2.75x. And then he should get 15 innings, seeing as his 14.5 pitching outs is a goblin. 70%. The Yanks could shell him. Will they, though? I'm not sure, guys. I'm not sure. I'm not going to lie to you. PrizePicks is inherently the worst place to take props for baseball. They're the worst. They give you the worst options, they give you the worst payouts, but they do have the best interface. If we go over here to ParlayPlay, they have, I already used it, but they have a Dylan Cease 4.5. It pays normal amount, so I recommend you use that. Promo code CRUSH, you can get that, plus a deposit match. In addition to that, they have Spence over here, and if you wanted to take him under 4.5 Ks here, you could, but like I just said, you're going to run into that issue with him facing the Yankees, and they make everybody look elite, even my boy Mitch Spence. So that's buyer beware on that one, but it does pay the full amount. I do like his hits allowed at 4.5. Look, 1.67. It pays normal. The only way I think he doesn't give up 5 hits is if A, the Yankees just completely stay in poverty, or B, he gets pulled hella early and then he just doesn't get the 5 hits. I could see that happening too. Another person, Logan Gilbert, is boosted at 5.5 Ks, but here's the deal. Playing the Rangers, I think he could get 6 strikeouts in this spot. He's historically a monster and owns them, but it does worry me that I know he's not going to run into deep innings, 6, 7 innings, and if he does make contact pitching, ground outs, etc., he may not get 6, but it's a boost here, and I do think that's a great play. Like this lineup here pays 2.3x. Another one for him would be under 4.5 hits allowed. I don't know why that line is so high, guys. I really don't. And look at what it pays, 1.85x. So this right here is a 2-man. Now we ran Spence and you saw the matchup. They're easier to get Ks, but they also get more hits, which is good for us because we like the hits allowed. His historicals are there, and he's also 71%. You can see also the weather's in our favor, increasing earned runs and hits by 2% because of the crosswind, okay? So everything sets up for him to hit his hits allowed. Hopefully he gives up 5 hits and the Yankees don't sell us. And then as far as Dustin Eovaldi is concerned, it's his first day back from that injury. He's going to simulate real well. His line's at 4. If you want to gamble on him, someone in my cord said he's going to be 75 to 80 pitches. You could take him to get over 4 if you want to gamble, but you got to know what you're getting into, folks. So I will leave that with you guys. In addition to that, it is Flex Friday, so you can take chances like that. I always take chances. I will probably have a demon 6-man hitter slip for mine. Now look at Logan Gilbert. 6'10", 3, 9, 7, 7, 10. These are all the same man, guys. You see what he's capable of. Even last year in September, he was cooking. He was cooking. Injury. Bang. Missed a month. Came back and got 10. Then he got 6 and actually got shelled. He still didn't give up any walks, though. In that matchup, he gave up 8 hits. On April 19th, he gave up 7 hits. He very well can give up 5 hits, but the Rangers offense isn't anything I'm afraid of. Okay, look at his historicals versus the Rangers. 3 hits, 6 hits, 2 hits, 2 hits. This is his historicals. The line doesn't really make sense to me. It doesn't. I think over 5.5 and under 4.5 hits allowed. I know this is going to be sweaty. I know it is, okay? The Rangers are playing at home, and with Eovaldi coming back into the fold, it could be a spot for them that sparks their team into having an elite offense at home. It could be like that, guys. We don't know. Those are the type of untangible, unquantifiable things that change a slate. So I could see him getting shelled because they're riled up. They're happy their pitcher is back. He's back on the mound. That could be one way this goes. In addition to that, the books are juicing his hits allowed heavily over. As you can see, the under's basically paying a demon payout versus the over. Now, one more thing that I want to say about Gilbert before we move on. I do like his 5.5 Ks. If you told me he was going 6 innings, this would be the only prop that I took. But here's the thing. I looked, there's no mention of a pitch count. They haven't mentioned it, but he has been on a pitch count. But this actually got me kind of shook because his 17.5 outs is basically a goblin right here, okay? But in his last 2 games, he only went 5 innings, as you can see here, 5 and 5, but he did throw 90 pitches, and then the game before that, 84. He was cooking versus Boston, and he only threw 84 pitches. I feel like he could have definitely went 6 innings. Against the Cubs, he gave up hits and earned runs, so maybe that's why they pulled him early. I'm not really sure. But look at the K rate. This is another reason why I like PickFinder, guys. You can see the individual stats, what they're K'ing against right-handed pitchers. It's not that good. They're not striking out a lot to right-handed pitchers. Look, 13%, 16%, 16, 23, 17, 24, 22. Not that good, but look. Versus Gilbert, that's a totally different story. 28%, 18%, 36%, 42%, 25%, 40%. Not all pitchers are created equal, but this is a good way to look at it so you don't just get boggled down with the right-handed versus this. You got to kind of look at both. You want to look at his whip, which is elite. 0.80 versus the Rangers, guys. Are you kidding me? That's as elite as you're gonna find. So this tool right here I use every day in tandem with my data models. It's PickFinder. You can use code CRUSH, links in the description, and get 10% off for life, and it's cheap. It's like 15 bucks. So you'll get it for like 13, 14 bucks. This is how you can do deeper analysis after you've ran the data models that I put out. You can do deeper analysis, which all this is factored in anyways, but it's nice to be able to see what's going on, guys. So I wanted to talk about that because the fact is we might be getting good equity taking under 17.5 here. Look at what this is paying. 2.27x. Because of that, I will have some shares of this, okay? I'm not going to anchor it or nuke it or anything, but I'm definitely going to have shares of that. I did want to talk about that. And then for this one right here, I'm going to go ahead and put this in because this is hits allowed and it's always going to be volatile. I put it in 25 to win 77. Promo code CRUSH. Tail or fade on ParlayPlay, guys. The link's in the description. Send me the email. I got 30 days of the cord waiting for you. So we talked about Cease, we talked about Spence, and we talked about Gilbert. And I'm giving you analysis so you guys can make your own decisions. Use this stuff. I want you guys to mimic what I'm doing so you can incorporate it into your process, okay? That's the goal of these videos here. And then hopefully you want to dive deeper and you want to join the Discord, join the live streams, use my data models that I've built. In addition to that, you want a community where you can sweat your stuff. I make it affordable for you guys. Get in the mix. Now, there's a couple other ones I don't have time to talk about, but I do want to look at Bello real quick, see what his lines are on PrizePicks. The walk props, they're extremely volatile, guys, okay? Look at Bello's last 5, 1, 3, 1, 2, 2. I'm pretty sure he just pitched a master class. Yeah, 6, 9, 4, 4. And look at his line today. Toronto's a horrible matchup for strikeouts, but 4.5 is a demon. I'm tempted to take that over just because anybody can get 5Ks on any random day, but the walks is definitely a good move here. Bello walks is definitely solid, and you can see if you pair it with any random line, it's going to give you 2.75x. Do not be worried about goblins and demons on MLB because they aren't true goblins what you're used to. Some of the demons will pay you less than the normal line depending on how you structure your lineup. You have to be paying attention. Look at this. PrizePicks took off 4.5 already. They're like, it's insane to me how fast they take lines off the board. So now you can only take Spence on PrizePicks at 3.5, which I don't even think that's worth it. That's why you want to be playing on ParlayPlay and diversifying, okay, guys? In addition, you can't even take Gilbert under hits allowed on PrizePicks. They don't give you the option. Why? Because they're just selling. And then look, they don't give you the option to take less on his 17.5 pitching out. Now, I will say one more thing about Gilbert. The 5.5 is solid here, but it's boosted on ParlayPlay. In addition to that, you could take the gamble with Gilbert and Eovaldi. If Eovaldi pitches, if he truly plays 80 pitches and gets to like 5 innings, he can get 4 to 5 Ks, especially in this matchup. Gilbert gets 5 to 6, bang. All of a sudden, that combo's looking crispy. But both of these pitchers are kind of because of their injuries and stuff. It's hard to say. I don't want to steer you wrong. I'm just giving you both sides of the coin, leaving it up to you to make your decision. Now, look at what we have here. 2 goblins, and both of them are paying 2.5x. I told you they're not true goblins. This is where I'm going to close with this video. I'm going to talk about Mr. Ortiz, okay? Him and Bello are both simulating well for walks. The problem with walk props is the fact that you have an umpire making the call, and if you haven't figured it out in 2025, the umpires have been astronomically dog water this season, my brothers and sisters in Christ. That's right. They haven't been good. They're calling strikes balls and balls strikes. It's horrible. We need AI umps. I'm begging you, AI umps or something different, anything. And you guys are like, oh, it's part of the game we want. No. When I'm betting coin, significant coin, I want it to be true. If it's a strike, it's a strike. If it's a ball, it's a ball. I don't care about what some umpire says. You dig? So let's move. Bello and Ortiz, 1.5 walks. 2.5x. So for every 20, you're making 50. If you threw in Cease, it would pay you probably 3.25x. I don't like taking 3 legs to win 3x though, personally, especially not 2x, unless I'm doing like a mortal nuke or something. But I will construct my lineups as follows. The walk props with the walks, the hitters with the hitters, etc. Why? Because these are high volatile props. I need an umpire to be on his game for these to cash. In addition to the pitcher just being out of command. That's when you take walk props, you're hoping the pitcher loses command and just makes him chase and the lineup is patient. So look, we're going to run him 10,000 times. 70% of the time he's going over 1.5 walks. If we look at his last historical, 2, 5, 3, 2, 5, 2, 2, 3, 2. It's basically a shoe-in for him to get 2 walks today, Mr. Ortiz. A vintage Ortiz performance would be 4 to 6 Ks, 2 to 3 walks, 2 runs, and 17 outs. Okay, so we're getting this at 70%. The weather's actually reducing earned runs and hits. And then we can go back to Bello and look at his again, which we just did. And you can see 1.5 simulates for 68%. You can see humidity's 59%, increasing pitch movement by 3%, affecting walks. Okay. His K, this is literally, guys, vintage Bello as well. Him and Ortiz might as well be the same archetype. 62% chance he goes over 3.5 Ks, 55% chance he goes over 2.5 earned runs, and a 44% chance he goes over hits allowed, so we would fade it. And then the walks, 68%, we got to take it. But you can see the Vegas lines are impacting the strikeout line 5%. Tremendous. 5%'s a lot. If you look at the matchup, it's harder to get Ks. They don't get a lot of hits. You can see his earned runs 1.33, 1.272. He's basically been dealing lately. Hate to say it, but the man has been dealing. If you want to take a shot on his Ks, you can. I'm hoping that the Blue Jays stay patient and he gets his walk. But I'm going to put them only in this 2-man, which I already did on Sleeper, but I'll do it again here because I know how volatile it is for the umpires and walks. So that's my take on that. Do I think both of these gents could cover their Ks? Yes. Okay, especially Ortiz. I would lean more towards him. There's a bunch of pitchers in good spots today. You can use the model. I have the full write-ups, guys. I have the full lineups posted in the Discord. There's a lot of boosts here. They do have that discount on ParlayPlay for Dylan Cease. 4.5 Ks and it pays a full line like a taco. There is a couple of WNBA games today to consider, and I diligently have been working on my hitter app, guys. I wanted it to come out last week. I'm still like far away off. I need another 7 days, unfortunately. I'm working as hard as I can, I promise you. But I do want to say something. Hitters are extremely volatile, guys. Okay, Acuna yesterday sold. He sold my lineup. I could have had a $450 lineup hit. All he needed was half a hit. Everything else had hit and I powered it. I just needed half a hit. He didn't get it. It's going to happen. You have to know that going into it. Yarny over 1.5 bases today. I think that's fine. Absolutely. I think he can get 2 bases today. Diaz yesterday sold me out of a lot of lineups. I took his 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, and his bases. Guys, it's always going to be a sweat with these guys, unfortunately, okay? That's just how hitters are built within this game that we love, which is baseball. But guys, I want you to take away from this channel if you learn anything. There's so many channels out there that do this stuff. I am trying to focus on developing your process. And then I want to talk real quick, Dustin May. I'm conflicted on this because I think he's going to go 6 innings because they don't really have a bullpen. That is the thing. But the matchup is bad, okay? It's a popular play, and I don't know if they're going under or over on it because I think it's 50-50. They're probably taking over on it. But look at the juice on 17.5. This is what I saw. And again, I'm using crushed bats. Minus 130, minus 120, minus 128. They might remove it because of this. But look, 18, 18, 15, 18, 15. Even when he gives up runs and hits, they let him go the distance, man. Why? Because they don't have a lot of pitchers they can just throw in there. He only simulates for 16.8, but that is because he's all over the place. 15, 15, 15, 17, 16, and that's an average. And in addition to that, look at the runs and hits he gives up. Technically, the more hits and runs you give up, you shouldn't be going the distance. But there are props we can take for Mr. Dustin May, aka Big Red. His strikeouts, look at this. The Vegas boost, if you use the Vegas boost with the model, puts him at 76%. Take it off, he's all the way down to 65% at 4.5. That is because Vegas is juicing the crud out of his line. Look at this, minus 160, minus 140, minus 140. That's insane. But on PrizePicks, his line is 4, so it's a little bit different. I think he at least should land on 4 here, but the Royals, I hate targeting the Royals. It's just not something I want to do. But look at his range of outcomes at 4 versus a variety of teams. The Guardians, the Diamondbacks, the Braves, the Padres, all of these guys. And then if you look, have I been saying the Orioles? I mean the Royals, but I can't even remember what I said. The Royals, guys. He's playing the Royals, not the Orioles. That my brain's somewhere else. I did a play for that. But I'm talking about the Royals. You don't want to target them for Ks, but look at the stats for the Royals versus right-handed pitchers. 13%, 12%, 12, 26, 17, 35, 22. I mean, it's pretty much a mixed bag, but in 2025, they just don't strike out a lot. Now, if we look at his walks, look at this. Over 1.5 walks looks like a slam dunk, doesn't it? 2, 4, 4, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. His floor right now is 1. We can say confidently he's at least getting 1 walk, and he has upside for 3. Okay. On average, he's getting 2, but I don't even think that's on the board. Oh yeah, it is. Is it oh my goodness, it's a demon. Okay. Now, if you guys want to see why it's a demon, this is why. They are dead last in walk rate as of last week, okay? They're dead last. They're the worst team to target walks for, which is why it's a demon, which is why it's a trap line. So you have to consider that. Now, Dustin May is going to throw walks, but you also have to consider this matchup, guys. This is looking deeper than what's there, because you're not going to see that on PickFinder. It doesn't, unless they have it somewhere. It doesn't say it anywhere that I can see. You have to look on a separate site. But 63%, you have to account for the fact, A, umpire. They rank dead last in getting walked, and then B, Dustin May could pull a master class out of his hat. So there's that. I did want to go over that because I know he's going to be popular today. Seeing that he's a demon blew my mind, but now if you look a little bit further, you can see why. The Royals are dead last in walks. Now, this is another free site I use that will give you the team rankings, and you can see Kansas City, the Royals, they're all the way down here at the bottom. They are least getting walked, then the Angels, then the Rockies, then the Rangers. So you honestly, I was going to think about telling you to take under 1.5 walks for Gilbert, but I couldn't find it on PrizePicks. They just have a goblin over. You need to be looking at these ranking things as well as incorporating the simulation models and the data models into your process, okay? This is how you know what to target and what not to target. What could be a trap and what isn't. What's optimal and what isn't. The good thing is about data models is with new data coming in all the time, I can constantly be tweaking the model, which I do. But right now, since I'm working on the hitter side, it's just hard for me to release the updates for the pitcher side as is. So Yankees are the number 1 team getting walked, then the Dodgers, then the Cardinals, then the Giants, then the Braves, then the Mets. And we know that because Ozuna, Soto, Judge, Oyarny, Marte, etc. Remember the 2 walks props I gave you earlier though? Look at Toronto. They're right in the middle of the pack. Good. Because we need 2 walks, brother. From Mr. Bello himself. And then you have the Cardinals that are 18th. See, these guys are middle of the pack, so I don't mind taking their walk props. But the Dustin May thing is a demon for a reason. I just have to throw that out there. I just had to tell you guys. And then, man, this video is way longer than I wanted it to be. But one more thing before we get out of here, okay? One more thing. Judge, over half a strikeout, guys, has just been a wagon. If you want to take it, look, it pays 2.25x with any random square. Doesn't matter who the pitcher is. He's just been green in the bean, man. 2, 1, 0, 1, 2. I mean, if you want to take it, Crush won't begrudge you a bit. Live stream at 5:30 Central. We're going to be building the lineups, talking hitters. We'll talk WNBA there. Don't forget, CaptainCrush.net gets you access into those streams, crushed bats, etc., etc. I do appreciate you tuning in. Sorry the video is long. I like to explain things. When it comes to me, I want to talk. I want to give back to my community. I hope you enjoy these videos. Listen to it like a podcast, and I think it'll help you out. Here's a salute. Good luck in all your contests. And as always, my brothers and sisters in Christ, let's crush.